So I am denying a few students who are coming in other there who are taking the other route. I'm getting that request. 1 or 2 class initially I allowed, but now I stop such students. Now, I believe you can see the whiteboard. You can hear me also. My video, I keep it off because we are discussing that screen only. In screen, you will see that. Now here, yesterday, okay, we were discussing about income consumption curve. So what happened when we are assuming here that only your income is increasing or decreasing? If it decreases, parallelly budget line will shift downward. So when your income is increasing, only all other things are at certain level, you will get new budget line. New budget line will become tangent to some indifference curve somewhere, and accordingly you are getting your new equilibrium position. New position under new budget or higher budget, which is giving you a different level of satisfaction, but which is much higher. But remember, these are different equilibrium position at different level of your income. Okay. Now, so after that, I am joining those equilibrium position, consumer's equilibrium. Accordingly, I am getting the income consumption curve. So income consumption curve is the locus of points of equilibrium, okay, that a consumer get or generate at different level of his or her income. All other things are at certain level. This is basically locus of points of equilibrium. So income consumption curve, ICC, income consumption curve is the locus of points of equilibrium that a consumer realize or generate at different level of his or her income. All other things are at certain level. Okay, this is the case. And basically what it shows if tomorrow your income increase, your consumption pattern will follow this route. Assuming all other things are at certain level, only income change tomorrow, increase or decrease maybe, your consumption pattern will follow this particular trend or particular pattern at different level of your income.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, like, why does the budget? I mean, why does the curve change? Because MRS, the per unit cost of X by per unit cost of Y is not changing. Only the income is changing. So, why will the curves change? Like, it should be a tangent for the IC curve, right?
I'm not getting what you were saying. Why the curve change means?
Like we've seen that for the IC curve, we'll get the consumer equilibrium. Like it will be a tangent at the consumer equilibrium point.
Okay.
So at the consumer equilibrium point, we find it at Px by Py. Both Px and Py are not changing. So why does the consumer equilibrium change? Like we see that the consumer equilibrium is changing here.
What? Wait. Ask you yourself as a just like a layman. You are having 100 rupees distributing between X and Y. With 100 rupees, you are purchasing certain quantity of X and certain quantity of Y. I assume by default a combination. Okay. So with 100 rupees, you are getting a particular level equilibrium position.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if your budget for purchasing X and Y is 100, so there will be a particular combination of X and Y which will give you maximum satisfaction under that budget constraints of 100, because you cannot go beyond 100. Your requirement might be much more. Tomorrow, you are in a position to purchase commodity X and Y with 500 rupees. What will you do? Will you not purchase more? Because you need more quantity of X and Y. Will you not purchase more? If you purchase more, suppose earlier you used to purchase say 10 kg of rice. Your requirement is 50 maybe. A monthly requirement for your family might be. But earlier money was not there, so you manage somehow about managing 10 kg of rice. Hypothetical case. Suppose now under your new income, you are in a position to purchase more quantity of rice, suppose 20 kg. Will you not purchase 20 kg? Same
Yes,
is the case. So the consumer will spend certain amount. So many times, why should I tell you? These are your common sense. If you are not talking, you keep it mute form. Why should I do it again and again? So again, I am coming. Need to go back to other screen again and again. When you are attending some online class, you have to have some at least some little bit. What I expect that little bit some mature behavior. That if you are talking it, if you are asking something, unmute it, ask me. After that, immediately you should mute it. It is a crime actually. You are not realizing it because you are disturbing others. Now, suppose with that new budget, you will purchase more quantity of X and probably certain quantity, more quantity of Y also. When your income is, suppose earlier it was 100, now it is 500, suppose. Remember, 500 is the amount you are now in a position to spend after X and Y. So accordingly, if you compare now for 500 also, you will get a equilibrium position. But in that new equilibrium position, quantity of X and Y will be different composition because quantity is much higher. Earlier, suppose rice was 10 kg, now rice is 20 kg. So what is happening? You see the equilibrium position at M, N, or P. Both commodity of X and Y both are much higher at N in comparison or at P in comparison to N or in comparison to M. So this is happening. This is I do not think that you will have any doubt about this one. So where is the confusion? I do not know. Why equilibrium position will not shift? Your question is like that. Equilibrium position is definitely shift at different level of your income.
yes, sir.
Because
Yes,
behind the assumption is that you are yet to attain the level of saturation. Means you are looking for more quantity of both X and Y. Right now, your situation is like that. But as your budget is limited, you do not have that purchasing power. Simply it is a wish. Because of that, although you wish to have more quantity of X and Y, but you cannot. Anyway, I believe it is clear. Now, the case is according to, yeah, any question? Any additional question or anything more? Okay. Now, based on this ICC curve, what happened? I'm just making it little bit small so that it become much more visible. Based on this indifference curve, okay, income consumption curve, CLE and ZEL, German statistician CLE, is creating a little bit problem. Anyway, I hope it will be okay now. CLE and ZEL. German statistician. He was doing extensive research on just a minute. I hope it will be better now. Okay. He was doing extensive research on the consumer's income and equilibrium quantity. Now, based on this one, CLE Angel or Angel curve is coming into picture. How we are drawing it? Say each and every different level of your income, like M1, M2, M3, M1, M2, M3, you are purchasing, say, certain level of X here on X-axis. This is the equilibrium quantity, suppose. Okay, suppose this is your X1, this is your X2, this is your X3, so and so. This equilibrium quantity you are purchasing. Now, what you are considering in for drawing your Angel curve, you are considering this equilibrium quantity that you are purchasing, equilibrium quantity that you are purchasing at different level of your income. Means instead of considering Y in Angel curve, this Y-axis you are considering different value of M. Say here, when your income was 100, you purchase say X1 quantity of X. So against 100, suppose 1 point you got it here. So this represents suppose 100. When your income M2, when income increase from say 100 to 300, suppose. So you started purchasing equilibrium quantity is X2. Along with that, Y is also there, which we discuss it in ICC. But in Angel curve, we are ignoring that value of Y. Rather, we are concentrating on Y-axis as value of disposable income or the income which is available for purchasing X and Y. So at 300, you started suppose purchasing suppose X2. You are considering same value, X2. And when your income is, suppose this is your 300, suppose, hypothetical. And when your income is suppose 500 or 600, suppose, so you purchase suppose something here, suppose 600. X3 and so. In that way, you can do it. Only thing is that while drawing Angel curve, you consider this equilibrium quantity of X that you usually consume when that value is coming from ICC curve, that you are purchasing at different level of your income, M1, M2, M3. These 100, 300, 600, these are basically nothing but M1, M2, M3, something like that. Accordingly, if you draw a line, more or less similar shaped curve you are getting it. Similar shaped curve you are getting it. Who is trying? So can you hear me? Some message came that it was not working properly or something.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. There might be. Just give me a minute. Okay. So what is happening here? Only difference is here is that you are considering equilibrium quantity of X that you purchase at different level of your income, or in other way you can say that information is coming from ICC curve. That equilibrium quantity, when you are plotting it in an x-axis and y-axis, instead of y, commodity y, you are considering now level of income M. So Angel curve basically the representation of equilibrium quantity of a commodity that you purchase at different level of your income. And to draw an Angel curve, this basic information must come or should come from your ICC curve. Means to draw the Angel curve, first you have to have the information about ICC curve. Because unless you draw the ICC curve, you will not be in a position to have the information of equilibrium quantity of a commodity, in this case suppose X, that you are purchasing at different level of your income. So this happened. Just a minute. This is one. Now, question, any question you have? Otherwise, I will move on. Now, next is, this is one situation I discussed about ICC. What I assume that your income is only changing, other things are at certain level. Now, I'm quickly moving because my intention is today to finish this portion at least. Now, let's see what happened here. Suppose your budget line is this one and your, say, indifference curve is here. Suppose this is your IC1, budget line is AB. This is suppose commodity Y, this is suppose commodity X. Suppose this is the situation. Now, suppose what happened, second case, second say extension you can say, second extension you can say. Now suppose it happened that price of X decrease. Price of X decrease, all other things are at certain level. In previous case, while drawing the ICC curve, what we did, we assumed that only income change, all other things are at certain level, but that may not be the situation. Sometimes what happen, price of X, suppose decrease, all other things are at certain level. All other means your consumer is having limited income, consumer is looking for more quantity of both X and Y, consumer is yet to attain the level of saturation, consumer is a rational human being, all things are, only thing here is happen, price of X decrease. When price of X decrease, what will you do? Suppose you went to market. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you went to market to purchase a kg of onion, hypothetical, do not confuse. You went to market. Yes. Okay, you went to market to purchase a kg of onion. With how much is the onion price? Suppose I assume it is suppose hypothetical value. Suppose it is 50 rupees. Suppose you went to market to purchase a kg of onion. You need, in your consumption basket, you need many more other commodities also. That is as usual. But right now, with 50 rupee, you went to market to purchase a kg of onion. Price is 50 rupee, as per your knowledge goes. When you reach market, you find that onion price is only 25 rupee. What will you do? Your requirement of onion is much higher as usual. It is there. So many of you will purchase, instead of 1 kg, 2 kg of onion. Someone may purchase it maybe 1.5 kg of onion, and rest amount may be used for purchasing some other commodity. Okay. But most of the cases you will purchase more quantity of onion. You may argue with me also that someone may say that I will not purchase onion, but most of the cases you will purchase onion more quantity, because where is the guarantee that tomorrow also it will remain 25 because of some factor, suppose price decrease. When price decrease, what we usually do it as a human being, we try to purchase as much as possible, because tomorrow we have to again purchase it at higher price, whatever it is. So when price is less, people are desperate to purchase. That is the usual practice. You think about maybe even in your online shopping and so and so. People are mostly doing in that way. So in this case also, what is happening, that proportion or quantity may vary. Ultimately, as price of X decrease, so what happened, your budget line is going to shift. Suppose I draw a budget line, it's not very uniform, but anyway. So budget line shift rightward. And this budget line will be tangent to some indifference curve somewhere. Something like this. Okay. It will be tangent. Say earlier equilibrium point was P. Now you move to Q. Earlier you used to purchase maybe X1 quantity of X. Now when price of X decrease, you purchase maybe X2 quantity of X, or X2 quantity of X. Okay. Similarly, suppose price of X decrease further. Price of X decrease further. Then this is suppose A, B dash. And suppose then what will happen? You will look for more quantity of X again. It will become tangent to some indifference comes somewhere. Something like this. Suppose I see 3, so and so, and it is suppose again, suppose point is R, suppose. So if you join such kind of point, ultimately, if you join this point, ultimately you will get a curve something like this. This is called your price consumption curve, PCC, price consumption curve. Okay, this is called price consumption curve. Price consumption curve. Okay, PCC. So what is happening here? It is again the locus of points of equilibrium that a consumer generates because of decrease in price of a particular commodity. All other things are at certain level. So in this case, what is happening? Price consumption curve. All other things are at certain level. Only price of X decrease, and as price of X decrease, you are purchasing more quantity of X. Accordingly, you are getting a new equilibrium position. So this is the locus of points of equilibrium that a consumer purchase or generate at different generate locus of points of equilibrium that a consumer get or generate because of decrease in price of a particular commodity, and all other things are at certain level. Now, there are two approaches we commonly discuss it. There are two approaches. One is Hicksian approach. Okay, before going to that one, let me explain it. This price effect in this case, suppose.
Sir, in this PCC,
Different economists already. Just a minute.
So you're not audible.
Someone raised the hand. Do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in this diagram, the IC1, IC2, and IC3, these three will be parallel or not?
No, they are. Indifference curve will be parallel. IC1, IC2, IC3 will be parallel. They are parallel, but I am drawing. My diagram is not very perfect, and only you are considering only negatively slope and convex shaped isoquant. This positively sloped, this portion will be out. It will not be there. Only this negatively sloped convex shape portion we consider. That I already discussed it. Yeah. Any other question? IC curve, indifference curve will always be parallel to each other. But only difference probably you observe.
Sir,
Yes.
here we are buying more quantity of X compared to Y. So then the indifference curve.
Obviously, yes.
Uh, so for the indifference curve to remain tangent to the new budget line, it should not be parallel to the previous IC.
Why? Why? Why it should
Sir,
not be?
because the
Suppose you
slope
are
of the new budget line is changing, so MRS should also change for MRS to be equal to.
slope is different. It is cutting your slope is different. It is cutting your different indifference curve. But to a particular indifference curve, it will be tangent.
So, but if tangents are not parallel, then how can curves be parallel?
If tangents are
If tangents are not parallel, then how can curves be parallel, sir? This is what I'm asking.
why? Suppose this is this one. This is another curve. This is another curve. There are so many indifference curves. To a particular indifference curve, it will be. Suppose this is moving in that way. So it will cut many indifference curve, but to a particular indifference curve, it will be tangent. That I am saying. Initially, this was here. Now, because of this one, it move in this way. So it will be tangent somewhere here. But in between also, there are so many indifference curve. It may cut so many. But to a particular indifference curve, I am not saying, remember, I am not saying that always it has to be in same proportion. It has to be in same proportion. You draw in this way, then what will happen? If you draw, maybe a different proportion. I'm not saying that here. Suppose it is suppose say 5. It is suppose 3. Now this point not necessarily this point not necessarily has to maintain the same proportion. If it means what I mean to say, it not necessarily it has to be 6 and 10 double. It is not like that. Do not think that people are maintaining the same proportion. What I mean to say, when price of X decrease, you will purchase more quantity. But I am not saying that always you have to purchase, say what I say, suppose onion price was 50, that price decreased to 25. It is not that always you have to purchase 2 kg. Suppose further it decrease. So you may purchase maybe 1.5 kg also. Someone may think about purchasing maybe even 1 kg also or 2 kg also. So not necessarily that always it has to be in a same proportion, because what happened, based on your requirement of X or how far away you are from saturation point, based upon your that situation, your demand for X and Y may vary. What I mean to say, there may be some consumer who may even spend, suppose it was 50 rupee, price decreased to 25. So now immediate objective is what? Your immediate objective is you went to market to purchase a 1 kg of onion. Immediate objective is to purchase a 1 kg of onion. So with 50 rupee you went there. So what you did it, first you purchase 1 kg. Sorry. So first you purchase, suppose 1 kg. Okay. After that also you have 25 rupee in your hand because price decrease. Now question will come quickly, how to utilize that 25 rupee, surplus 25 rupee. Question comes here, how to utilize this one? That I was about to discuss actually here. In price consumption curve, okay, I am discussing it. Question is, you immediately fulfill your immediate objective of purchasing 1 kg. You did it. Okay, 1 kg of onion, you purchase it. That objective is fulfilled. Next question is, after purchasing 1 kg, because price of X decrease, you have still 25 rupee in your hand. Question arise here, maybe in fraction of second, how to utilize that 25 rupee. Many of you will utilize that surplus 25 rupee for purchasing additional quantity of X. Indirectly, I'm saying in that 1 more kg of onion, you will purchase it. But not necessarily. Some of them will spend maybe 20 rupee for purchasing additional quantity of onion out of this 25. So, for a fraction of second, are you not realizing a situation of increase of your income by 25 rupee? Not increasing, as price of X decrease by say 50 to 25, for a short period, you are realizing that your income increased by 25 rupee. Because after purchasing 1 kg of onion also, as price of onion decrease, you are still having 25 rupee in your hand. This is just like your additional income. For a short period, you are realizing it. So this we represent here as income effect. This we represent here as income effect. Okay. Another issue is here involved, that is, this is a human tendency, human behavior, that when quality wise two commodities are more or less same, quality wise two commodities are more or less same, not much difference. Quality wise two commodities are not much different. Okay, then it is the human tendency to go for cheaper item instead of costlier item. A human tendency, and this is having a justification or rationality, because your income is limited. If there is a possibility to save some money in certain activities, purchasing activity, you can think about purchasing maybe more quantity of that commodity either, or maybe some other commodity also, because it is your money, I cannot dictate it. It is your money, I cannot dictate it. You can only think about purchasing. You can only think about purchasing it as per your wish. So because of that, what is happening in this case, that you are looking for cheaper item instead of costlier item. But remember, please remember that I am saying that word categorically, that if quality of these two commodities are more or less same, if quality wise they are different, then you have to treat them just like two different commodities. But in this case, repeatedly I said that quality wise more or less they are same. If they are same, then you are looking for cheaper item. This is a human tendency, or human being prefer to substitute cheaper item for costlier item, or costlier item by cheaper item. This is called substitution effect, because you always try to substitute. So what I want to tell you here, that your income effect, sorry, price effect is a combination of income effect and substitution effect. That I want to tell you, because already a lot of economists already that this price from P, okay, you move from P to Q, okay. So X1, X2 is your price effect. Because of decrease in price only, you started purchasing more quantity of X. Along with that, you might be purchasing some quantity of Y also. So what I mean to say, price effect, already different economists already established the fact that price effect is a combination of income effect and substitution effect. Based on this principle, we are going to proceed now quickly. Maybe next 10, 50 or 50 minutes, we are going to discuss two approaches quickly. One is Hicksian approach. Hicks is a well-known economist. One is Hicksian approach, another is Slutsky's approach. Slutsky's approach. Okay, Hicksian approach. First, I am going to discuss Hicksian approach. I will discuss Slutsky's approach later on. Initially, I am going to concentrate on Hicksian approach. Okay. Now, let's see what happened in Hicksian approach. Initially, remember, in both the approaches, I am graphically going to show you. First of all, in both the approaches, your first few steps are similar, only there are some minor differences, you will find it. But in, say, in Hicksian approach of price change, that you can discuss it for normal commodities as well as for inferior good also. Now, in economics, I will discuss it in detail later on. By default, in economics, how we termed it as normal goods. Normal goods are those goods whose demand, decrease along with decrease in income. Or in other way, you can say normal goods are those goods whose demand increase along with increase in income. Okay. So this is your normal good. And inferior goods are those goods, just reverse. Your income increase, demand decrease. That I will elaborate in detail in demand and supply at the beginning of demand and supply. But for the time being, we assume that whatever commodity you are purchasing, that is a normal commodity. Okay. Normal commodity means if your income increase, you will look for more quantity of that commodity. Okay. This is one. And another is okay. And this Hicksian approach, you can discuss it for increase in price as well as decrease in price of X, suppose. Both the way it is possible. Suppose this is your, this one. Initial budget line is suppose AB. I am discussing right now a situation of suppose this is your IC1, equilibrium at point P, corresponding value of X is suppose X1. You are right now at point P. P is your equilibrium position. Budget line is AB. Indifference curve is IC1. And at this one, you are purchasing OX quantity of X. Along with that, you are purchasing Y also, but I am ignoring it. You are purchasing it. Remember, I am discussing right now for a case situation of normal commodity and decrease in price of X. Decrease in price of X. Okay. Just give me a so in this case, what is happening? I assume the normal commodity X is a normal good, and I am discussing a situation of decrease in price of X. Now, what happened? Suppose price of X decrease. So when price decrease, consumer will look for more quantity of X. All other things are at certain level. So ultimately, your budget line is shifting rightward. Suppose AB, this is your new budget line, and this will be tangent to some indifference curve somewhere in that way. This will be tangent to suppose IC2, suppose at point Q. So you move your equilibrium position, move from P to Q, and corresponding value is of X is suppose X3. New equilibrium position is Q, which is tangent to IC2 at point Q. Corresponding value is X3. So what is happening here? Your price effect, because of decrease in price of X only, consumption of X increase. Consumption of X increased by X1, X3. So X1, X3 is your price effect. X1, X3 is your price effect. Because of decrease in price of X, consumption of X increase by X1, X3. So price effect is X1, X3. Okay. Price effect is X1, X3. Now, what Hicks assume, you remember right now you are at point Q. Your position is Q now. You are no more at P. Your new equilibrium position is Q. Okay. Your new equilibrium position is Q, and corresponding consumption of X is OX3. Now Hicks assume that because of some external factor, your income decrease. Remember, all other things are at certain level. Because of some external factor, your income decrease. Okay. Now you remember, because of some external factor, only your income decrease. Your present budget line is AB dash. You are at point Q. Then Hicks assumed that because of some external factor, only your income decrease. All other things are at certain level. So if this is the case, then you are going to have a new imaginary budget line. That budget line will be parallel to AB dash. AB dash is your new budget line. Your position is Q. Then Hicks assumed that because of some external factor, your budget decrease. But your budget decrease in such a way, you are coming back to your original indifference curve. Means, to satisfy that assumption, you have to draw a, you are drawing a, it is not straight line, but it's supposed to be a straight line. You are drawing an imaginary budget line. Suppose this is your MN. MN is your imaginary budget line, which is tangent again to IC1 at point, suppose R. At point R. This is the new point of tangency. Hicks assumed that because of some external factor, your income decrease in such a way that you are coming back to your original indifference curve. Original indifference curve is IC1. So your budget line is coming back to original indifference curve, means IC1 means you are tangent at point R. You are getting an imaginary budget line MN, and your tangent, even new point of tangency is R. Because slope of MN and slope of AB is different. So obviously, point of tangency even on IC1 is also different. So accordingly, here at R, corresponding value of X is, suppose, X2. So as per that Hicks assumption, because of some external factor, your income decrease in such a way that you are coming back to your original indifference curve. Means, because of decrease in income, you move from Q to R. Because of decrease in income, you move from Q to R. So accordingly, consumption of X decreased by X to X3. Consumption of X decreased by X to X3. Okay, and that is happening because of decrease in income. So income effect here is, income effect is X2 X3. X2 X3 is your income effect. And already I say that already different economists established that price effect is a combination of income effect and substitution effect. Once you know price effect, once you know income effect, just find out the substitution effect. How you will do it? You just find it out. Price effect minus income effect is equal to X1 X3 minus X2 X3. Ultimately, you are getting X1 X2. So X1 X2 is your substitution effect. This portion is your substitution effect. Okay, so this is your substitution effect, and this portion is your income effect. In that way, you are getting it. Okay, so in that way, you are getting it. Substitution effect and income effect. In that way, you are getting it. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, can you answer me, or did you observe your movement from Q to P to Q and Q to R? What kind of movement it is? Can you tell me the pattern? What kind of pattern it is following? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me the pattern or movement? What kind of movement it is following it? You are probably not observing it carefully. Anyway, if you see your movement from P to Q is because of what? Because of decrease in price of X. So this is following the pattern of price consumption curve, PCC curve. It is much more horizontal. Sometimes it happen. Suppose you are drawing a PCC curve. Sometime in initial portion it is quite horizontal. In later part only it may go up. Usually it happens because when price of X decrease, you are purchasing more and more quantity of X only. You are concentrating more on X. Because of that, initial portion is quite horizontal. Later only, along with you are moving towards saturation point of X, then gradually along with X, you started looking for more quantity of Y also in later phase. So here, if you see, movement is little bit horizontal in comparison to your movement of Q to R. Q to R is because of what? Because of decrease in income. It is following the pattern of income consumption curve. That I'm saying. So it is following the pattern of income consumption curve in case of your movement from Q to R. Q to R movement is following income consumption curve. Now, let's see. I'm making it a little bit small. This is for decrease in income. Let's see what happened quickly about increase in income. Okay, just reverse. Y, X, initial budget line. Suppose I see one. Oh, I made a mistake anyway. So I'm making it in this way. Suppose this is IC3. Suppose IC3. You are at this moment. You are at point P. Corresponding value is suppose X3. Suppose. So right now your indifference curve is IC3. You are at point P, and suppose corresponding value is X3. So your right now you are consuming OX3 amount of X. Now, because of some factor, it may be any external factor, price of X increase. All other things are at certain level, only price of X increase. Suppose onion price earlier it was 25, overnight it become 50 rupee because there is a shortage of supply, or there is a shortage of supply because of maybe hoarding, or maybe because of say bad weather in say onion producing belt, or onion dry, or crop died, or crop damage, so and so. Okay, this is a regular phenomena in, if you look at it in Maharashtra's that Nasik area or some certain areas in Aurangabad or certain areas, you will find, or even in Andhra and certain areas you will find where onion is mostly produced. Bad weather, sometimes it is manipulative price also. Suppose because of some hypothetical or external factor, price of X increase, all other things are at certain level. So price of X increase. So ultimately you started purchasing less quantity of, initially suppose it is your AB, this is AB. So budget line moved to backward because price of X decreased, you started purchasing less quantity. Okay. Now, when it is in this way, then somewhere it will be tangent to some indifference curve, somewhere, maybe somewhere. Suppose this is IC2, suppose IC2, and it is suppose tangent to IC2 at point Q. This is suppose X2. So in this case, you move from P to Q. You move from P to Q, means this one is decrease. Consumption of X decreased by, so price effect is, in this case, is equal to X2, X3. Consumption of X decreased by X2, X3. because price of X increase. So this is called your price effect. This is called your price effect. Okay, this is called your price effect. Now, what Hicks assume, because of some external factors, just reverse. Previous case, I say that because of some external factor, your income increase. Previous case, sorry, income decrease in this case, because budget line move parallelly from AB to MN parallelly. That external factor may be government impose some tax, income tax on your income. So income decrease. So in this case, what is happening? Because of some external factor, your income increase. Let's assume that because of some external factor, your income increase, and your income increase in such a way that you are going back to your original indifference curve. Original indifference curve in this case is IC3. Because of some external factor, suppose government announces some dearness allowances, DA, new DA, government announce, your income increase. When income increase, you are in a position to spend more money after X and Y. So ultimately, your all other things are at certain level. So ultimately, what is happening here in this case, you are getting a new imaginary budget line. So new or imaginary budget line is suppose this one. In that way, suppose this MN is your new imaginary budget line. Okay, but Hicks assumed that your new imaginary budget line, it will, because of some external factor, your income increase in such a way that you are moving towards original, you are going back to your original indifference curve. So you are getting ultimately an imaginary budget line which is tangent to IC3 at point R. So from Q, new equilibrium position here is R, and corresponding value is, suppose, oh, I made a mistake. This one you can keep it as 1, maybe X1, just to avoid any confusion. X1. So in this case, this is your X1, X3 price effect. And now what I assume that this is suppose X2. So your consumption of X increased by X1, X2 because your income increase, government announced dearness allowances. Because of that, you are got a new imaginary budget line and you move from Q to R. Because of that, your income increased by X1, X2. So income effect here is X1, X2. Income effect here is X1, X2. So this is your income effect. And once you know income effect, once you know price effect, very easily you can find it out. Substitution effect equal to price effect minus income effect is equal to X1, X3 minus X1, X2. So substitution effect in this case, X2, X3. X2, X3 is your substitution effect. This portion is your substitution effect. And this portion is your here income effect. In that way. So this is a case of Hicksian approach for increase in price as well as decrease in price. Two situations for normal commodity. Okay. If you have any question, you can. Otherwise, I am moving to Slutsky's approach, quite similar, but only little bit difference in assumption. Only little bit difference in assumption. So in Slasky's approach, what is happening? Suppose again, I am starting with decrease in price. Initially, price of X decrease, first equation. Then I will show you. So initially, your budget line is suppose AB. IC1 at point P and so. Okay. Yes. Okay. So can you? I am giving you a break of 5 minutes. After that, I will join you. Okay. After that, I will answer Abhijit's question also.
So can you show the previous figure?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. So Abhijit was having a question, I think, before leaving or before that break. He was having a question, I think. He raised his hand. Abhijit, can you hear me? Anyone is having any question? Do you have any question?
No, sir.
Abhijit, you raise your hand probably.
No, sir. It was another Abhijit.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, if you have any question, then you can ask anyone. Anyone can ask question. But I believe you can see the whiteboard, Microsoft whiteboard.
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. Okay. Now I am moving to Slutsky's approach. In Slutsky's approach, first few steps is quite similar. I'm making it little bit bigger so that initially you are at point P, equilibrium position. Inference curve is IC1, budget line is AB. This is your present situation. Now what happens? Similar to this one, suppose price of X decrease, all other things are at certain level. So obviously your suppose budget line move become AB dash. Indifference curve is now become parallel, obviously by default. So it is say IC3, suppose it is equilibrium at point Q. So your corresponding value of X is X1, corresponding value of X is here X3. So as price of X decrease, consumption of X increase by X1, X3. So price effect is X1, X3. By default, price 1 is X1, X3. Up to this point, it is similar. About Hicksian approach and Slutsky's approach, quite similar, same. Now, question comes about that assumption. Just like Hicks also, Slutsky also assumed, went for an assumption. Slutsky assumed also that because of some external factor, your income decrease. Right now, you are at point Q. Indifference curve is IC3. Corresponding value of X is X3. And from that point, your income decrease. All other things are at certain level, but your income decrease. Your income decrease in which way? Slutsky assumed that because of some external factors, like government impose some additional tax on your income tax. Okay, income tax rate increase by certain percentage, suppose. So your income decrease, all other things are at certain level. So ultimately, budget line will move parallelly downward. Now I am drawing a budget line. But because Slutsky assumed that your income will decrease in such a way that if you wish, you can purchase original. If you wish, you can purchase original combination of X and Y. This is the difference. Hicks also assumed that from new equilibrium position, your income decrease, so you move parallelly. Slutsky also assumed that from new equilibrium position, your income decrease. But Slutsky's assumption, the assumption is different in the sense that he assumed that your income decrease in such a way that if you wish, you can purchase original combination of X and Y. Because here I mentioned X1, X quantity, but certain quantity of Y is also there. I am silent about it. But Slutsky assumed that your income decrease in such a way that if you wish, you can purchase original combination of X and Y. And to fulfill that one, what you have to do is you have to draw this budget line parallel to AB dash. You have to draw this budget line parallel to AB dash in such a way Suppose this is your MN. You are drawing this MN parallel to AB dash in such a way that this MN is going through P. It is no more tangent to IC1. Please remember, MN is no more tangent to IC1. MN is no more tangent to IC1. Okay. Mn is going through P, but Mn is no more tangent to IC1. Okay, this is the case you see here. Mn is no more tangent; it is going through P. So your budget is Mn, budget line is Mn. So if you wish, you can purchase easily at point P. But that you are not purchasing. You are not purchasing at P, because what happened? For N, P is no more the equilibrium position. For Mn, P is no more the equilibrium position. So what will happen ultimately? What I want to tell you, there will be an indifference curve parallel to IC1, but it will be in this way. You can draw an indifference curve like IC2 parallel to IC1, tangent to Mn at point suppose R. So Mn is no more tangent to P. Mn is tangent to IC2 at point R, and corresponding value of X here is X2. So you move from Q to R because of what? Because of decrease in income. So income effect is X2, X3. So in this case, income effect is X2, X3. And once you know income effect, substitution effect will be rest portion X1, X2. X1, X2 will be your substitution effect. So this is the case of decrease in price of X. I believe in similar way, just like previous case, you can draw a situation of increase in price of, I'm just quickly giving you the hints. Suppose you draw it a budget line. Suppose this one, IC3 at point, suppose say P, okay, corresponding value is suppose X3, so and so. Your budget line is AB initially, this side is X, this side is Y. Now this is the case of decrease in increase in price of X. Price of X increase. So when price of X increase, budget line move from AB to AB dash. And this is tangent somewhere, it will be tangent. It will be tangent somewhere. Suppose here, P to Q, corresponding value is suppose X1. So price effect will be X1, X3. Okay. Now similar to Hicks, Slutsky also assumed that because of some external factor, your income increase in such a way that if you wish, you can go through your original indifference curve, if you wish. So means your new budget line will be parallel to AB dash, but this imaginary budget line will go through maybe your P, point P, means you can draw a budget line through this one, this point, in this way. This is your MN, budget line is MN. MN is your new budget line, imaginary budget line. But remember, MN is no more tangent to IC3 because Slasky assumed that if you wish, you can purchase even with MN budget line, you can purchase at point P. You can, because budget is reachable here. You can purchase that particular combination if you wish. But remember, for MN, P is no more equilibrium position because it is not tangent here. So MN will be tangent to some imaginary budget line, say this is a budget line, suppose indifference curve, suppose. Okay, suppose this is your IC4, suppose IC4 is tangent to MN at point R, suppose, and corresponding value of X is suppose X2. So you move from Q to R because of income effect. So income effect is X1, X2, and substitution effect will be equal to X2, X3. This is the situation. This is the case for increase in income. Okay, I believe it is clear. Do you have any question? Do you have any question? If you have any question, you can ask me. This is for increase in price of X. If you have any question, you can ask me. I am ready to answer any of your question. I am ready to answer any of your question. No question? Okay, fine. Any question, or later on also you can ask me. I am telling you now that you might be having some question, or you may not have some question at this moment, but this doesn't mean that you will no more get that opportunity to ask me any question. You can ask anytime, any portion, any question related to my portion. Because about other portion, how they are teaching, other faculty members are teaching, that I do not know. And it will not be proper to answer that one. Although I am teaching even other portion also for other subjects in different way. Okay. But if you are having any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can ask me such question later on also. But do not say later on that we didn't get any opportunity to ask you any question or clear your doubt. Do not say this one later on. I'm telling you. Okay. If you have any question, you can ask me now. If you have any question or you come to your mind even later part also related to this portion, even when I am discussing other topic, you can ask me then also. But I do not want to waste my time as well as your time also. So I am going to start another second section. Second section, obviously, what I promised that whenever a section will come, then and there itself, I will discuss most of your basic concepts. So now what I am going to do is I am going to discuss your second portion, that is basically your demand and supply. But before going to demand and supply, I need to explain most of your basic say concepts. Now, can you tell me what do you mean by demand? What do you mean by demand? Can someone tell me? Not necessarily that it has to be a classical definition of demand. I'm not asking it. Because what I understand that you have some basic idea about demand, or frequently you use probably or heard that word also, that terminology, that demand. What does it mean exactly? Quickly, if you like. Otherwise, I will answer.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Consumer desire.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir. Demand is basically the requirement of the public.
Okay. Fine. At individual level, better to talk right now about individual level, at your individual level maybe. After that, we will combine it. Means, see, when we talk about demand may be at individual level we can analyze, or it may be market demand also. What you are referring is mostly related to market demand, quite similar, but it is simply the aggregation of individual demand related to a particular commodity, say for example. But more or less it is a similar behavior, more or less similar behavior. So you see that Rajasekhar said that demand is requirement for public or something like that. He said something like that. Any other answer?
Consumer desire to purchase goods.
Pardon?
Consumer desire to purchase goods.
Okay. Okay. Any other answer? Any other? Quickly, if you like to respond, it's fine. It is not that you have to ask, but if you like to respond. So I'm giving you the answer. You, what I think Aryan said that desire or something, some word I forgot actually, desire or something. Okay. If I say, suppose my income is 3,000 rupee per month, hypothetical value, 3,000 rupee per month, and I am having a desire to purchase a BMW, suppose. Will it be a demand? My income is 3,000. So indirectly, what I am bringing here, I am indirectly adding here. I am just trying to fine tune it. I am simply adding here another component, that is purchasing power or income. That is an important component. Why? I am going to explain. So definitely what you said that it is desire or something. Okay, that's fine. Demand is desire for something backed by purchasing power. That is very, very important. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? My income is 3,000 rupee. I am thinking about purchasing a BMW, and but because of my limited income, I cannot purchase it actually. Now the question is that if I am not in a position to purchase it, this will be simply my wish. This is simply my wish. Okay, this is simply your wish. You do not have purchasing power. So you are not an actual buyer. You are not an actual buyer. It is simply your wish. That is not going to make any difference in your real life, that he is actually not purchasing anything. He may wish, but he cannot purchase. He is not having that purchasing power. This is one component. Second component is also important. That is, sometimes I believe you spent few months in IIT campus, I believe already. So most of you. Okay, so when you know where tech market is. Sometimes did you not feel like a situation like you want to take market? You have money, but you are not purchasing something. You have money, but you feel that no, right now I am not purchasing it. You might be having other commodities which is having much more at the top of your preference list, so and so. Or sometimes even you are having money. After that also, you can purchase easily, but you are not purchasing. You might be realizing that kind of situation also. You are visiting a shopping mall, you have money, but you are not purchasing. Then what will happen? At that particular point in time, you are not ready to pay. You have the money, purchasing power, but you are not ready to pay. That may be another situation you may realize. So because of that, another component, what we usually express, that is your willingness to pay. So how we define demand, not a classical definition, but by default we say that demand is desire for something backed by purchasing power as well as willingness to pay. You must have purchasing power. At the same time, you must be ready to pay for it. If you are having purchasing power but not ready to pay for it, then we will term it as your you are not ready to pay. We will term it that you are a potential buyer. Potential buyer means he is having the buying capacity, but right now because of some factor, the person is not purchasing. So we termed it as a potential buyer, and demand is called a potential demand. Most of these marketing company, remember, most of these marketing company target this potential buyer only. Potential buyer, somehow to motivate it, maybe through your demonstration, free services, n number of them they will demonstrate, and so in n different way they will try to motivate you so that from potential buyer you become actual buyer, because everybody try for actual buyer only. They are concerned about actual buyer, but simultaneously different marketing strategy targets mostly potential buyer. Why India is a very big market? Because India's income is increasing, general people I am talking about. So when purchasing power is going up, so mostly people are becoming a potential buyer. So new products are launching, and it is a big market now. But when they were not having sufficient purchasing power, market was small, something like that. So demand is desire for something. You must be looking for something, desire for something backed by purchasing power and willingness to pay for it. And what I said about individual demand, this is what I'm talking about is individual demand. But market demand is just the aggregation of your individual demand at a particular point in time for a particular commodity, what is under consideration. Okay. Now, this market demand can be analyzed in two different situations by default, you know. One is short run, another is long run. Short run in economics, I will explain it in detail later part. But by default, at this moment, you can assume that short run represents a very short time period. It is having a more precise definition in economic terms, but right now I'm discussing short run means very short period, means most of your variables under considerations remain constant, fixed. Only one or two variable may change depending upon how much time you are considering. But maybe what I mean to say, suppose right now you are considering demand, market demand, say for say potato intake market, suppose right now. So most of your other variables are constant right now because time period is very, very short. But suppose you are consider, you can analyze that demand also for a long period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. That is another possibility. Then when you are considering long time period, many of your variable under consideration may vary. At individual level, I am talking about. At individual level, if I ask you that what is the demand, your demand, individual demand, remember, individual demand I'm talking about. What is your individual demand for potato right now? So I may say that, okay, right now I'm looking for maybe 2 kg of potato or 2 kg of onion, something like that. But remember, probably you observe one thing by default, that is when I'm talking, spelling out a value about 1 kg, 2 kg, behind my mind, in my mind, what is going on? Going on is how much is the money available in my pocket to purchase onion. Okay, indirectly, what I'm telling you, short run, when you are considering time period is very, very short, so you are mostly concerned about price of that commodity. Price here I mean to say market price. Market price. You are going to market to purchase onion. So what is the prevailing market price of onion? That is your more concern. Okay, because if you know that price, based on that one, you are going to take a decision how much quantity you are going to purchase. Okay, so this is a short run. So in short run, your demand is mostly depend on price of the commodity. Long run, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. Price is by default will be a variable, but along with price, when time period is long, many of your variable, many of your parameter which may influence demand may be variable in nature. For example, when I talk about short run, what I say, okay, I'm coming back to this one. So I believe you can see the whiteboard again. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm doing mostly demand. Okay. Supply I will bring it sometime later. Initially, my plan is initially I will discuss little bit about demand. Then I will discuss little bit about supply. Little bit means 2-3 lecture. Supply is very short. Then I will bring both demand and supply together, so that picture will become complete. So initially I'm concentrating on demand. So in short run, your quantity demanded, suppose QX, this is a quantity demanded. You are looking for that much quantity. Is mostly a, what I mentioned is a function of price, PX. PX means market price. Okay, in short run. And how by default, what kind of relationship you may get it? Your quantity demand and the end price. Suppose this side is, suppose I am drawing it QX, suppose. Okay. And this side is suppose PX, suppose. What kind of relationship you may find it? Think about your case. You are considering your X is suppose onion. Price of onion is more. What will you happen? How much quantity will you purchase when price is more? You will purchase less quantity. When price is less, you will purchase more. So it is a negatively slope. Your demand curve is something like that. Okay. So higher the price, less is the quantity. Lower the price, if price is less, suppose here price is here, suppose you will purchase more quantity. Here you will purchase this much. If price is more here, you will purchase only this much here, means this much quantity, maybe somewhere here. So this is happening. So it is a negatively slope, or in any equation form you can write it like Qx is a function of A minus BPX. Someone might be thinking that why I'm talking about only a linear relationship, why it will be a straight line, it may be it may not be a linear also. Yes, you are right that it may not be a linear. Qx equal to A, Px to the power minus B, power function also it may be. It may be rectangular hyperbola also, Qx equal to A by Px plus C into B, A, B, C are positive value. Different form it may take it. So do not confuse about this one. But in general, I'm talking about this one. Okay. But if it is a long run situation, which I will discuss later on in detail, but I'm just showing you long run situation, suppose. Then QX may be influenced by a group of factors. Demand, quantity demanded. Say quantity demanded, suppose demand for onion for me will obviously influenced by price. But along with that, I'm considering a time period, say 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Then another factor may be your say income. How much is your income? Because when I was considering in short run, when I was considering short run, so today you are considering the demand for onion today. Today within 24 hours your income may not increase. That I was telling you that most of your other variables are mostly constant. Only price is influencing your quantity demanded. But in case of long run, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, as time period is more, other variable may appear, like your income may be there, consumers taste and preference, because you are considering a time period of say 5 years. Right now I am consuming tea. Tea is the beverage, suppose. I am very fond of tea, I am consuming tea. But it may happen that I am no more interested about tea in a period over a period of 5 years. I becoming more and more interested about coffee. Okay, I becoming more and more interested about coffee. So because of that, what happened? My preference, taste and preference, in that way, there will be other factor which I will discuss later on. Okay. So this long run, as I said, this long run, I will discuss it later on, not now, because otherwise you will be confused more and more. This one I will discuss later on. Now, this is the demand. In general, demand is, and this kind of relationship, we discuss it with the help of law of demand. Law of demand. What law of demand says? Here, it is whatever is explained it here. Law of demand says that all other things are at certain level, because what we assume, there may be many more factors, but those factors are at constant level, like income. When I am considering today's demand, my income may not change. It is at constant level. So what I assume that all other things are at certain level. When price of a particular commodity increase, quantity demanded decrease. When price decrease, quantity demanded increase. This is the law of demand. That all other things are at certain level. When price of a particular commodity increase, quantity demanded decrease. And when price decrease, quantity demanded increase. This is called your law of demand. Clear? Now, in case of demand, I usually also discuss a few exceptions to the law of demand. Exception to the law of demand. Exception to the law of demand. Okay, that we'll discuss it also. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes.
Actually, there was a problem. There was a power shutdown, and somehow I could not even connect with my hotspot also, mobile data, somehow. But anyway, I'm leaving you. What I'm telling you, next class I will discuss. I'm not sure whether you can see the whiteboard also. We were so up to law of demand. You already discussed it. Now what is left is exception to the law of demand or exceptions to the law of demand, plural. Okay, I can write it here that exceptions to the law of demand. This we'll discuss it in next class, means on Thursday we'll discuss it. But for the time being, let me save this one first. And I will send it maybe today itself, this file at least, this particular file. Today itself I will try to send it. Just a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm just. So this one is saved, and I'm just. I'm just downloading the attendance sheet. So